Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews, and today talk about a film I think is pretty decent, Dead Silence, which came out in 2007. Gets a 6.2 on IMDb. Directed by James Wan, who directed Insidious Chapter 2, Saw the first movie, and I think overall it's a pretty decent film. Not a tremendously done horror movie. There are a few problems with it, but I think overall it's pretty decent. Still found some enjoyment out of it. Pretty good. And, first of all, one of the good things I really like about the movie is if you guys can see that, it's sort of a little poem. It goes, "Beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She has no children, only dolls. If you see her in your dreams, be sure you'll never ever scream, or she'll rip your tongue out at the seam." So I really enjoyed that little line. It kind of goes good with the movie. Sort of like in Hatchet, I mentioned it wasn't necessarily a poem. It was more of a beat to it. It was like, da 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 da. Michael Myers sort of has a da 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 da. Signature sounds and signature themes of the movies. And this is definitely one of the signature themes of this movie is that poem. Definitely a signature theme of this movie, and also the doll. Very creepy looking doll or puppet. And you think looking at this poster, you think, oh, it's all about the puppet. No, it's about it. You think when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's more about a puppet than anything else, about a killer puppet. No, it actually focuses on a very paranormal story. You've got Mary Shaw, who was this girl or this woman, this old lady, and she owned all these puppets, and she would do these shows, basically puppeteering, doing some shows, and these puppets seem to have a life of their own. She'd be acting like she was controlling the puppet at first, but then it would do something that would seem out of the ordinary, because it shows a part where this kid was like, "That's not real. Oh, that's fake. You're controlling the puppet." You find that this Mary Shaw woman got killed because kid went missing. So when she got killed, her spirit's one of these puppets. And one day, this couple, the lead character name is Jamie Ashen, played by Ryan Quanten. Try to see what else he's been in. He's been in, come on IMDb. Come on. Let's go. Load up. Alright, there we go. True Blood, he's been in Spellbinder, Summerland, Home and Away. Not really movies I'm familiar with, honestly. But, in this movie did a pretty decent job. Really, honestly though, I didn't care for the lead character. It wasn't really much. It wasn't terrible. He didn't do a terrible acting job, but it was just not much for me, at least. Not much for character. You also got Amber Valletta playing Ela Ashen. Donnie Wahlberg as Lieutenant Lipton does a good job. And Michael Fairman as Henry Walker. Now, like I said, the movie is good, it's decent, but there are a few problems that I have to address. They use a lot of CGI enhancements, especially in the atmosphere. I really enjoyed the practical atmosphere, the whole sort of old school horror look, the thunder and lightning and the rainy and droopy atmospheres, really dark atmosphere. But then they do these like enhancements on it. Like they enhance fog and CGI fog and mist and CGI enhancements on the atmosphere. Just doesn't look that good, honestly, in my opinion. It looked kind of cheap and kind of fake, kind of make it look a little bit more fake. But if they went with the practical route, it would look great. But they use some enhancements. Also, the death scenes are pretty gruesome, but they use some CGI enhancements. A little bit of enhancements on the face whenever it gets, damaged from Mary Shaw. Or you have a little bit of CGI blood here and there. Besides that, and maybe a few characters I really didn't care for. And also the ending was freaking terrible. Really didn't freaking like the ending. And basically, like I said, it's about this couple who receives this puppet. Pretty much this puppet right here. And they start doing some weird things. And basically, the character, Jamie, his girlfriend gets killed by this puppet. gets her tongue ripped out, and basically her entire mouth is stretched out, like flipped out, and it's like chunks of her face is missing. It's gruesome. But like I said, it's just got some CGI enhancements on the face, kind of made it look like it was a little bit fake. But then pretty much he tries to find out who killed his girlfriend, and it leads him to his dad's house, and his dad is a stepmom, and you have a twist which will eventually come in at the end of the movie, which I thought was freaking. The twist was good, but the freaking the twist was really good. It was just the ending of the movie was sort of bad. I mean, it was just the twist caught me off guard, but then the ending of it just freaking threw me off. I was like, really? That freaking ending? I'll explain when I get to the end of the review. But, his dad tells him about this Mary Shaw character, learns more about Mary Shaw, knows the poem, learns about how she used to be a puppeteer, and then basically he goes to her mansion, finds some clues there, and basically Donnie Wahlberg is thinking that he's suspicious, thinks that he killed his wife, and Donnie Wahlberg follows him around a lot, interrogates him, and then it gets into the movie where pretty much he goes back to the mansion, finds the puppets there, burns the puppets there. Creepy scene where it's done where there's a clown puppet, and it was really well done. I gotta give James Wan this, man. He did a great job during this one scene. It was freaking creepy. And it's sort of, one of the most famous scenes of the movie. Everybody talks about it, where this little clown puppet is sitting in this rocking chair. You just hear, and then it stops, and it looks right at the character, and it goes, "Come here." And the guy walks up to the puppet. He's like, "Come close so I can tell." Basically, tell him to come closer. And the guy gets near him. He's like this, and the puppet just freaking freaks out, and it's freaking creepy. I'm like, you guys in that part in Poltergeist, the remake where the freaking clown freaks out, scary. Watch this movie. This freaking movie is way creepier. Just rocking back and forth, just looking with this freaking creepy eyes, and just like, "Come here." And then it tells him about tells him a little bit of stuff, and then it freaks out and it scares the crap out of you. And this puppet was pretty creepy. You got Mary Shaw. She kills a couple people. She kills this couple that pretty much helped with the lead character, rips their tongues out. She kills Donnie Wahlberg when he's falling, he screams. Because the thing is, you're not supposed to scream when you see her. When you see her, she can't kill you unless you scream. Now, when you scream, you die. There's even a part in the movie where the lead guy, he gets scared. He goes like, "Ah!" So she doesn't rip out his tongue. So it's a pretty cool, smart scene with the lead character where he goes, but he doesn't want to get his tongue ripped out. And Donnie Wahlberg's falling, he screams, gets his tongue ripped out. And then the character gets out of there after burns all the puppets, goes back to his dad's house, and then you get the twist, which is pretty good, and then the ending ruined it. Where pretty much, okay, we'll give the movie this. This is a very shocking twist. And spoiler alert, by the way. If you haven't seen this movie, Dead Silence, I'm going to spoil the twist. But it's been out for a while, so if you haven't seen it, well, I'm sorry if I spoiled anything. So, I know a little bit too late, spoiler alert, but, spoiler alert at least on the twist. Because the twist was really good. Now, he gets to his dad's house, and his stepmom's been acting weird through the entire movie. She's acting odd. She's not acting like herself. And you find out that she's dug his back of his head out, took his brain out, put some strings back in there, put a big freaking stick in his head, and has been using him as a puppet. Now, the twist is good. I was like, holy crap, this guy has been a puppet the entire time. So you find out that it shows some flashbacks, and whenever she leaves the room, I guess his father just sort of slumps over. And you didn't really notice it at first. You didn't notice it, but now you do. And it's like, she's been controlling him. Then he realizes that his stepmom is Mary Shaw. And pretty much, Mary Shaw. Let me make sure I got the name right. You found that his stepmom was Mary Shaw. And that she appeared right behind him. He goes like, this is really what he does. He goes, hang on, let me turn around. He goes, "Ah!" End of the movie. And he dies. I'm like, so Mary Shaw killed him and got away with it, and that's all? That's pretty much it. Mary Shaw kills him and gets away with everything. So I'm like, okay, what was the point of the movie then? Because the movie was him trying to figure out how to stop Mary Shaw. And you come to this twist, and it's like, dude, what's the point now? Because like he looks for the killer that killed his girlfriend, finds out who it is, trying to stop her. You make him escape her from the first time, and then she kills him. I'm like, okay, so why did he scream? Why did he just go like, boom, punch her in the face, something like that? Done something like that, not just like turn around and scream and end of the movie. Not one of the worst endings of all time, but it's pretty bad. So, I think overall the movie's pretty decent. Of course, James Wan, he's directed Insidious 1, Insidious 2, the first Saw. He directed The Conjuring, which I'm not a fan of. I really am not a fan of The Conjuring. I'm sorry. I was like, what? You hit The Conjuring? Conjuring got a 7.5 on IMDb. I'm like, that's way too freaking high. And yes, I hate The Conjuring. I don't like it. I think it's cliched. That's the thing with the movie is that everybody talks about how classic it is. I'm like, it's cliched. I'm like, what's so special about The Conjuring? It's like, I was watching, I'm like, this is just like Insidious. This is just like this movie. Just like, Sinister. It's just like every, it wasn't really that different. Or I take that back. Sinister and, The Purge, and a few other horror movies like Unfriended did it differently. Conjuring was just like freaking Ouija, or it was like Mama, or The Gallows. It was that cliched horror movie that you see now. And I didn't see all The Gallows yet. I seen like half the movie, and I wasn't really getting into it that much. I mean, it was, I don't know if I would say if it was complete crap, but it wasn't really a lot. It wasn't really much. But The Conjuring, I don't like that movie. But as far as this movie goes, Dead Silence, I think it's pretty decent. Pretty well done. So yeah, thanks for watching my review, and I'll see you guys in the next review.